Tyler Hoover here of Hoovies Garage and Barrett-Jackson's live coverage on history and FYI. And we're at Super Saturday, if you will, of Monterey Car Week. There is a lot going on today before the big concours tomorrow. And where we're at right now is sort of the antithesis because it is the Concours de Lemons, and I've actually entered my car in here. Something you normally wouldn't see at these. It's a 2013 Ferrari 458, but it's certainly qualified to be a lemon or a hoopty because it has almost 90,000 miles. It was probably an ex-track rental, salvage title, wrecked into a ditch. And when you're here, you need to kind of bribe the judges, which is why I have 1 million Vietnamese dong on the windshield for them, which is, you know, about 50 bucks. My competition here in the hopelessly unreliable Italian class is Fiat 500, and they had a bowl of noodles on the hood. But let me take you around this thing. It is, well, quite a mess. It was wrecked. You can see the seats are all torn up here, but it was incredibly cheap, and it is my ride for Monterey Car Week. So we'll walk around today at Concours de Lemons, look at some unbelievable hoopties, and then we're gonna see some really nice cars, go on a beautiful drive. You've got the experience of Monterey Car Week, Super Saturday. Let's go. Oh yeah, pop-up headlights with LeBras, that's a look there. Oh yeah. It's a pretty significant piece of BMW history here, but it's a total hoopty with dead rodents. You know, they're only original once, even when they're like this. The car didn't break, but I broke your lid, so yeah.
We'll get it fixed. They're feverishly working on it right now.
So hopefully you got a taste of the awesome terribleness here at the Concours de Lemons. Next, we're going to go on the beautiful 17-mile drive at Pebble Beach in my Ferrari. That was a little embarrassing at the car show, but I did get an award. They still gave it to me even though I broke their show. But now I am on the beautiful 17-mile drive here at Pebble Beach. This actually started in the 1880s as a tourist attraction when they opened the Del Monte Hotel, and back then it was horse-drawn carriages. You went on horseback. Nowadays, well, I have a bit more horsepower here in my Ferrari 458, 570 horsepower, and we're heading actually towards Pebble Beach where they host the Concours d'Elegance. Just some of the most beautiful driving road in the world, and I have, well, my own soundtrack with this amazing exhaust note.
I'm here with Mike Joy, the voice of NASCAR and of Barrett-Jackson, but he's also a fellow Trans Am racer. You bought a new car, Mike, and tell us a little bit about, you racing with your son and this being such a family affair.
Well, that was the whole goal, Craig. We bought this car from Rob Kaufman in the spring, tested it, got it all sorted out. An opportunity presented for the Owens Corning car. Ron Treadway decided that he was done racing. He put the car up for sale 2 weeks ago, and if not now, when? Yeah. So we bought this car and we're having a blast. And just the opportunity to get on track with Scott and race against him wheel to wheel in the cars that I loved growing up.
Yeah.
He's as big a fan of this as I am.
When you walk down here, it really is memory row of the heyday of win on Sunday, sell on Monday. And
absolutely.
I see that history here and bringing a lot of these models back in their modern contemporary form today. It really is going back to that glory day of racing.
Well, the best thing about these cars is everybody recognizes them because everybody up here grew up with them either in period or, their father had one or they have pictures of them at home, so everybody knows the cars. These cars are thunder and lightning. They make a lot of noise. They go fast. They slide around. And I think they are the hit of the event.
wherever we go with these cars, I think they are the crowd favorite.
Absolutely.
Go out, drive as fast as you can, and be safe for everybody, and put on a good show, and show this history driving around the track.
It's all for the fun and for the love of these wonderful cars.
Well, it's a great hobby. You should watch a Trans Am at a vintage car event live, or, you know, get one of these cars. Get out there and do it yourself.
Well, we saw Mike and Craig earlier. I'm actually with Mike Joy's son, Scott, here, and it's his first time racing at Laguna Seca. So obviously you didn't have a choice. You had to be a car guy, obviously, growing up with Mike Joy as your dad, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And my passion for these cars started here with Craig Jackson. He put me in his Gurney Cuda when I was about 12 years old, and with my dad racing, and my passion's grown from there, and now I'm fortunate enough to actually be behind the wheel racing my old man.
So this is your car here, number 17, a Trans Am race car. Tell us a little bit about it.
You know, it was originally driven by Walter Parkins, 1970. We acquired the car rather recently, got one test in it, and this is my first time out here at Laguna Seca, first time in the car, period. Dad's first time too, so we're having, you know, working out the leaks and squeaks, but we're having an absolute blast out here.
I am insanely jealous. I wish I could club you over the head and impersonate you, but I couldn't get away with that. But obviously, this is your first time. You've worked your way up into this. You've raced some cheaper cars. I know you're into a shared love of BMWs with me, right?
Yep, absolutely. My first car is a 4 Series BMW. I now race Spec E46 3 Series BMW.
That's
and
awesome.
The M4 for me is what the Z28 is to my dad.
Right.
That's really my passion. But it's awesome to continue the love that he has of these cars and that all of these guys have for these cars.
So a lot of people say the car hobby is dying with our generation, that we're just not that into cars. It's obviously not true. It may change the taste a little bit, and what kind of goes away as a trend and what comes up as a trend. Maybe E46 race cars will be at Laguna Seca in 30 years?
Yeah.
Maybe not, but obviously the hobby's alive and well. Huh?
Absolutely. We've got the ragtime racers behind us, cars over 100 years old, and they're still beautifully maintained and run around this track. And I'm sure that these 70s muscle cars, as iconic as they are, they're not going to go anywhere anytime soon.
Someday I will get my 66 Shelby out here. It raced once, long time ago here. I'm just not qualified to do it, so I'm going to follow in your footsteps.
Okay,
actually.
let's do it.
I really look forward to seeing you out on the track.
Thank you, Tyler.
Good luck. It's really fun to see 100-year-old cars running full out, leaking from everything down the track. Of course, all the way up to the Trans Ams, which are absolutely fabulous. I've been coming 7 of the last 10 years, so I haven't quite grown up with it, but it's a dream for me to drive here someday.
It's a fun track, and for these Trans Am cars, they used to race here in the heyday, and it's an honor to race these cars back at the tracks they raced at in the heyday. But the overall week, you know, I started coming here when it was Pebble Beach and we had a picnic basket, and you know, when I was a kid and sit in front of the ramp, it wasn't even a ramp, they just drove the cars over. And to watch everything else, all the events, it has really branched out this entire week, but the core was the Pebble Beach Concours d'Elegance. That started it all, and it'll be really an exciting Sunday being on the lawn.
Yeah, it was amazing to be at the Quail. It was actually my second time. Before, I would just wait outside and watch the cars leave because it's kind of a pricey ticket.
It is.
I stayed in a garden shed one time at an Airbnb for Monterey, you know, like 80 bucks a day. But yeah, it's great to have access to see all these things. And you know, all starts for me basically watching Barrett-Jackson on TV as a kid, begging my dad to go, and then eventually, well, finding my way to you guys. So I really appreciate that, and really appreciate the opportunities you guys have given me to experience some of this.
One of the things I think that you see it at this week, you see it at Barrett-Jackson, is bringing multiple generations together with cars. And seeing a grandfather, a father, and a son walking around Barrett-Jackson, they may be looking at different types of cars, but it is that bonding, and that is what makes it all worthwhile, is just that family experience and bringing young people into what is really a great hobby.
Yes, and it's very fun to see how you guys adapt and change, how the cars have changed over the last 20 years plus that I've been watching, where, you know, there's still these amazing legacy cars, but we see more and more exotics as well, which, I mean, I absolutely love seeing the Countages and the Diablos and McLarens, and we're seeing a lot more of that and a lot more appreciation for those cars as well.
When I took over the company, we were selling primarily pre-war classics. I took us to muscle cars. We were early adopters of hot rods and customs, and then resto mods, and now all the modern supercars, and selling more Ford GTs than anybody else combined.
So the Pebble Beach Concours started in 1950. You're not too far behind, starting in 1971 at Barrett-Jackson. The cars that were in the parking lot are now, sort of in the show being sold and beyond, and it's just so cool to see.
It's what the generation that is growing up wanting is what is going to be collectible, and it's going to keep growing. YouTubers like yourself, young generation, spreading the word. Stay tuned.
1988 Ford 3-liter blue, orange, and white.
Pebble Beach, one of those iconic weekends, and a lot of things have spawned off of it. It is now called Car Week. It has grown immensely, and it is one of the most important concours on the planet. Cars come from all around. To win Pebble Beach is the crown jewel for any collector. Just getting your car accepted to come on the lawn here, the experience of taking your car on the rally and actually taking your cars out and driving it. I showed here back in 2019. We are restoring a car that will come back here, and that is part of what I love about coming here to Pebble Beach. It is a great weekend. You've got the Monterey historic races going on. You've got other concours. You've got the quail. You've got so many events that have spawned. This is the nucleus right here at Pebble Beach. It doesn't get any better than this. My father loved Delahaye's Talbot Lagos, and it was a Talbot Lago that I showed here a few years ago. Behind me here is one that we've sold, this T26 Grand Sport with Frenet coachwork, a teardrop look to it, absolutely stunning. This entire row here, I love French classics. They are some of the sexiest cars ever produced. And growing up around Tom Barrett, Russ Jackson, having all these great cars, growing up in the restoration side of the business, and then bringing them here to Pebble Beach, this is just a dream come true to see cars like this that we've actually sold sitting here in this magnificent backdrop.